God afternoon, my dear friends. Al Barlow here with Breakthrough Prayer Ministries, Inc., Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida. 501c3 nonprofit, Christ-based itinerant, which means traveling ministry. And we're inviting you out to our first session of Hungry and Thirsty for God Participatory Bible Study commencing at 7 p.m. this Tuesday, the 13th day of January in the year of our Lord 2026. And we are going to deal with this word, to judge, not being a judge, not the noun, but the verb transitive, which means to make a decision, right or wrong, to differentiate between right and wrong. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I am deathly afraid that most people do not understand what it means to judge. Every time they hear that word, they automatically and connotatively think that it means judgment in terms of going to hell or heaven. No, that's the ultimate judgment that only God can determine. But there are many smaller judgments that God has specifically placed in our positions of authority, power, influence, and stewardship to make decisions upon. For instance, it's a judgment call to determine whether or not you will go and rob a bank with somebody or not. If somebody says, come on, man, help me rob this bank, and you say no, that is a judgment. You made a judgment not to go. And so one of the things that we need to learn is that a decision to do something right is a judgment. It's a judgment to not do something wrong. Likewise, a decision to do something wrong is a judgment to not do something right. So what gets me, what's so funny, I'm just going to be honest with you. What's so funny is when people send me messages on Facebook saying, Pastor Barlow, you're judging that person. And that person, here's one person said that dress is inappropriate. That's a judgment. But another person said, it's nothing wrong with that dress. That's a judgment. And what gets me is people will tell me, you're judging that person to say that something's wrong with that dress. There's nothing wrong with that dress. So on the one hand, they accuse a person of making one judgment on one side, but they have already made a judgment on the other side. They have determined that it's nothing wrong with the dress. Perfect. Okay, now another person has determined that there's something is wrong with the dress. It is inappropriate. Fine. Both of those are judgments. One is a judgment that the dress is appropriate. There's nothing wrong with it. I even heard one lady say it's elegant. Please. I had to give her the definition of elegance. Listen, so if you determine something is right, that's a judgment. On the other hand, if you determine that something is wrong, that's a judgment. So those are the kind of things we're going to get into with this participatory Bible study next Tuesday at 7 p.m. online. You can pick it up on my Facebook page at Alvin Wellington Barlow Sr. or preferably on YouTube at Pastor A.W. Barlow. May you have a very blessed, peaceful, and prosperous day in the Lord our God.